It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer Fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington Show.
Welcome one and all. It's time yet again for the Andy and Rem Show. Episode 1, 2, 3. There goes the thumbnail, and there we are. Good evening, everyone. And what is going on here? Mr. Remington, you're not horizontal this week.
No, I'm not. I've got my room fully kitted out, ready for some Andy and Rem Show fun. I've got my miniature cabinet there, full of goodness. I need to get another one because I've got so many more things to put up. I've got this, which could come in handy. It's not quite a flesh puppet, but oh,
You've broken it.
I just rolled a 1. But
That
look,
That wasn't like a housewarming gift or something, was it?
No, I actually got it on a Kickstarter. Have I broken it? Oh, damn it, man. No, look, and it's really cool. Look, it's like, no, it's the Andy and Rem Show.
That's not the reaction people have.
Or it's like bonsai. Or I could have tried the 1 in 100.
I don't think we need to see that live on the show. Combine it with the 360 then, go on.
360. All right. Ta-da! Oh, no.
So, you don't get this kind of red-hot, sizzling Age of Sigmar content anywhere else, folks. Only on this show. So,
Wow, what's that you got there? Shadow and Pain. I saw that being advertised. It looks pretty cool, right?
it certainly does. So, this is a new Age of Sigmar box, which is looking rather spicy. And the thing that immediately jumped out to me is that some previous Age of Sigmar boxes have been a bit kind of big, bulky warriors, but this time we've got kind of the sleek, streamlined, kind of finesse-looking warriors here, don't we? Rather than your big, beefy Stormcast and your Khorne or your Nurgle warriors, that kind of thing.
They're all slender, aren't they? They're slender creatures.
Yes, so let's have a look. Of course, they've got plenty of fog going on in the image, but packed with awesome Daughters of Cain and Hedonites of Slaanesh models, including a pair of brand new heroes. So, here's some interesting point. Only 2 of the models sound like they are new. How do you feel about that as a concept for a starter box? When there's a box out there, do you like it to be packed full of spicy, new, juicy goodness? Or do you think just a couple of new models and everything else being just recycled? How do you feel about that?
Old is gold, but new is something that rhymes with new. That's cool. New is better. We want new. We want exclusive. And I don't know if this box produces enough new and exclusive, but it does have a little bit of old and gold for sure.
You don't think it's quite spicy enough at first glance?
No, I think it would have been a good opportunity here to introduce some new Daughters of Cain units. Rather than more snakes and more batwings, Melusai. But then again, if the price is right, then perhaps it's a good deal to boost your army. Because if you look at the top shelf there, no, the middle shelf there, I've got my Daughters of Cain army, and it's looking pretty sweet. And I'm sure you'll show everyone some better pictures.
Yeah, we're going to look at some spicy images of those shortly. But the chat is looking rather packed at the moment. We've got plenty of viewers for this spicy occasion when we're going to be doing some deep, deep probing into all the sinister crevices and underbelly of Shadow and Pain. So, who have we got in the chat? We've got lots of people in here. Any relevant comments to what we're discussing right now? People complaining actually that there's a lot of AELF content out there at the moment. Brad in particular, infested with elven kind.
I would like some different shaped elves. I'd like some more, some elves some elves with a bit more puppy fat. Why are they all sort of sleek and slender all the time? Don't elves come in different shapes and sizes, just like humans?
I'm sure the argument would be, well, these are the elite warriors that have been selected for their top-notch genetic and physical prowess, so they can go into battle. But when times are tough, I imagine they'll pretty much take any elf into battle, you would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just thought it was a good opportunity to, I know they've got a new hero unit, and it's another snake, and it looks awesome. But I would have liked to have seen some other kind of infantry. I don't know. I've heard rumors that there may be um, a new Daughters of Cain book on the way, so that's another opportunity.
Well, we might get to something along those lines in a minute, but look at this. This is the Lord of Pain. And does he look like a Lord of Pain to you?
I think that weapon will be really annoying to wield because you'd probably stab yourself with it. But then, because he's Slanesh, you'd probably like that.
I think a Lord of Pain should have more spikes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a new unit, isn't it? I suppose this is
this is a new one.
Hero.
Standing on a statuesque head there. Let's have a look at the description. The invading forces are commanded by a Lord of Pain. This champion of Slanesh has sampled every vice and excess the mortal realms have to offer and mastered the arts of agony. On the tabletop, this translates to him channeling the pain he receives in combat, sharing it with those who inflicted it, and then striking them down with his wicked soul-piercer mace.
A soul-piercer mace?
Yeah, is there any kind of soul related word that they haven't used yet? Everything's soul something, isn't it?
Have they said black souls? I'm sure they've said dark souls. Black souls?
They've probably got like soul slasher, soul render, soul slicer.
Hell soul? Well, not hell weavers.
It used to be blood that was in everything, and then skull when they were all about corn. Now that they've gone for souls, since the Stormcast came along, we've seen the word soul a lot. And then obviously with the Nighthaunt as well, they have a bit of a say in the soul department.
So, what do you fancy fielding a Slanesh army, Andy? What do you think?
I have thought about it in the past, I'm not sure whether now is the time for me to be doing it, but potentially. Whether I would go for this set, I don't know, since not all of them are that spicy and new. This guy certainly is, and
I do have some Slanesh to show you.
Do you?
I've got I sold a bunch of my odds and sods armies, so to speak, and I sold a bunch of chaos, but I couldn't bring myself to sell my these is it Hellstriders? Yes, Hellstriders of Slanesh. Let's see if I can get those up for you guys. Yeah. It's not focusing, is it?
I'm sure you'll be able to get some nice sweet pictures of those for next week.
Yeah, they're really nice to paint actually. I got a bunch of these, but I've got nothing that they can go with. So if I got this box, suddenly I'd have like 15 of these guys. And I don't know.
You would have a full army, certainly.
Well, yeah, I guess. What do you get? What do you get on the Slanesh side of things?
Well, we'll see in a moment. But first, look at this. Leading the Daughters of Cain is a Melusii iron scale. You see the word iron a lot as well. Usually with the orcs or the dwarves, though. Crafted from the most vengeful souls, there's soul again, among all the, let's just call them elves, because Fluffy dreads complaining about calling them elves. This elite war leader is resistant to hostile magics and can channel Marathi's might to turn foes into immobile, but fully conscious, crystal statues. In your games, this means enemies need to beware mortal wounds. Does that mean a mortal wound will just shatter someone that's in crystal statue form?
Something like that. Yeah. But this isn't like a unique trait. This is the same for Melusai anyway. So this is not. It's not a really new figure, really, is it?
The actual model itself doesn't grab me as being new and spicy. It looks pretty much like all the others we've seen so far from this army.
It looks like a kind of sort of like a squadron leader, doesn't it? It's wicked. I like this model. It's wicked.
It's nice, but you'd expect if it's the only new model in the release for that faction, I'd want something a bit bigger and juicier, personally.
Well, it seems to be the way of things now, isn't it? Because they did that with the goblins versus Sylvaneth one, didn't they? And they brought a new hero, new Squig Hopper champion. My mind's gone blank. Yeah, Big Boss. Sorry, Big Boss on Giant Squig. And then, you can buy it individually later on. So, I mean, I don't know.
Raphael says, excuse me, it has a column on the base. So, yeah, it must be an important person if there's a column on the base. If you're standing on any piece of terrain, you're important.
I need to know the price point here. If you look at the back, I think there's a chariot in the shot, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I need to know the price point because this could really flesh out my Thoughts of Cain army for sure. This and of course the new squadron you get for the skirmish game. Mine's gone blank, so I can't remember.
Yeah, we might see some of that in a minute as well. But what do we think the price is going to be on this, folks? They don't seem to deviate too much from the usual starter box price, apart from when they up them every now and then.
I mean, like retail, if you took these individually, it could be a lot. It could be like, what, $250, $300? Or was that 180 quid if you added all that up? Right? So I'm thinking it's going to cost £120, which is like a 30% discount. Fluffy Dread says £90. That sounds pretty good.
That sounds about right to me. So, some nice pictures here. The Realmgate Wars, Malign Portents, the Soul Wars, Wrath of the Other Chosen. The vast ongoing story of the mortal realms has encompassed many great events. To break it down, the Stormcast Sentinels ushered in the Age of Sigmar, driving back the hordes of chaos and allowing civilization to return to the realms in the form of great cities. Nagash raised hordes of the dead to claim the realms for himself. Ancient storm vaults full of long-buried secrets were opened, and most recently, chaos and death have been knocking chunks out of one another in the 8 points. Now it's time for the next chapter, a narrative event that will define the future of the Age of Sigmar. Broken Realms is here. So, defining the world with events, potentially with community involvement. I feel like that used to be a big deal back in the old world, but at the same time, it never felt like you could really achieve anything because it was so set in stone that anything that was accomplished would be kind of minor. Or you knew the good guys were going to win eventually anyway. But in a world that isn't so nailed down, in the Age of Sigmar where things are forever shifting, then perhaps allowing the community to shape that is a bit of a safer bet. What do you think? How do you feel about that whole concept?
Well, yeah, it encourages people to play the game and register their victories or losses. And I think they amass all those statistics and then build a sort of a storyline around that. So I like the concept. Kind of cool. Yeah, let's hope Stormcast don't win. That'd be good.
Now, you're asking about books here.
That. Yes. Now, okay. So what's this? Is this a novel
or is it Broken Realms Marathi, which I believe is related to this whole thing here. So it's the next phase. So the Soul Wars, Realmgate Wars, and so on. Now we're on to Broken Realms, and it looks like the first installment here is called Marathi, which means that there isn't going to be a new model accompanying this because it's already pretty new.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sweet model. I mean, I'm after that model. I think that'd be pretty sweet, man. Always good to have a big centerpiece. And she's right up there, right?
That is true.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think from videos I've watched of gamers, proper gamers, not like me and you, they're like moaning about Daughters of Cain being a bit predictable and boring to play now. So maybe this will spice things up, right?
Well, boring and predictable to
You know?
play isn't an issue for most of us who haven't been playing very much lately at all. So it's going to be new
That's
and
right.
exciting either way as soon as we get to actually play again.
But Andy, if you were to add a new unit to the Daughters of Cain force, what have you got anything in mind? Or you guys in the audience, what do you reckon?
Something that doesn't already exist. I always like the idea of like creepily combining elves, not just with snakes, but also with something else like spiders. But the goblins have kind of got that.
Yeah.
They've got that locked down, haven't they? The spider motif.
Or you could do different types of snakes, right? You could have like cobra, like a puffed out cobra with a elf's face in the middle.
How about this? Elf legs with a snake's top half instead.
Yeah, that's kind of mutant. That's like chaos sort of style.
Do you
now.
not think they're kind of mutant enough with just an elf body on a snake tail?
Well, I don't know. I think, what about some male slaves, right? Some sort of cannon fodder unit.
Which is it? Slaanesh that has the one that's playing like the harp, but it's with somebody's sinew.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right, that's right.
So let's have a look at your models, actually.
Okay,
So look at this.
I've put these in the Discord as well.
Yeah, anyone who hasn't checked out the Andy and Rome Show Discord server, the link is in the description, and you should be in there because it's a hive of spicy, juicy content that you don't have to wait an entire week to sink your fangs into. So what have we got going on here? It looks like quite a bit of juicy goodness.
Yeah, so a little bit classic Remington, a little bit of everything in my army. So, and I picked the models that I think look good, not necessarily that play good. So I've got the elves with the bows. The snake women with the bows. I've got the Medusa instead of the cauldron of blood. And I've at the front there, I've done the Idol of Cain thing on its own base.
Is that the one that goes on the back of the Cauldron of Blood, maybe?
Yeah. But it's its own unit now, and you have to roll to see if it comes to life or not. It's like, a statue that, comes to life, but there's a chance it may do nothing. So that kind of sucks. But it looks great.
If you're not favoured on that day.
Yeah, if you roll a Remington 1. Then you've got like a blood queen or some sort of queen, hag queen, blood scabby woman there at the front. She looks great. And then on the left, I've got is it heart renders? It's the ones with the sickles instead of the spears. So I wouldn't mind another unit, but they're goddamn hard to paint. The sort of gargoyle harpy elves. They're so spindly.
So looking at a different angle here, and if you eagle eye, you can actually see the reflection of Mr. Remington there taking the picture in the glass. A bit of a close up of the winged critters here.
Yeah, and I've even gone as far as to put eye makeup there. Nice turquoise eyeshadow. At the back, what you can't see are 10 Sisters of Slaughter and 20 Witch Elves, and 5 of the sort of what they're called, the Wraith guys with the long white hair on the horses.
Oh, the Doomfire Warlocks,
is
it?
Yeah. Doomfire Warlocks, that's it, yep. So there you go. I've had them in a box for ages, thought I'd bring them out. So with the new Dark Elves models coming out for Beastgrave, and of course now this box set, I thought I would celebrate. Maybe think about adding to this force. But you guys let me know. You guys let me know. What should I get? Should I get Morathi, or should I get this new box set? I'm definitely getting the Beastgrave thing, so that goes without saying.
I've got one more picture now, this is probably the best picture here. You can see a bit more of the detail on some of the models there, and some of that fine painting detail that the Remster is known for.
Yeah, I do like my colours. Yeah, I like the streaks. Yeah, I went for. I didn't like the masks so much, but because I like painting female elf faces. But yeah, I think I could do with some more snake elves this time.
So
The ones with the spears would be good.
Fluffy Dread says amazing army Remington, incredibly painted, and then we've got a couple of votes from Raphael and Rob that you should immediately get Marathi.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I love painting a centerpiece all day. So yeah, I'll get that.
So there is more juiciness to look at because we're going to skim through a lot of this because it's kind of space related. So they unveiled a lot of new stuff the other day on the Warhammer community. So a quick look at all this malarkey here that I'm sure we don't really care about. Some Space Marines and diorama piece there. These are Horus Heresy 30k Space Marines of some description. They look a bit evil to me. Horus Heresy Book 9. Okay, Necromunda, this is a bit more relevant to our tastes, although none of us have gone for House Orlok. Unless, well, I suppose there's still time. I don't think you've chosen house yet. But they've released some new models for the Orloks.
Yeah, I'm going with Etcher.
Well, you say that, but then every time you see a different gang, you seem to be swayed. So some of these look a bit spicy, and every faction seems to be getting their own little beast now as well.
Yeah.
And the Orloks have got these kind of robo-dogs.
Latest news, Remington buys chair.
Yes. You just spotted that in the news headlines.
Yeah, I like those.
So these robo-dogs, it kind of reminds me of the Wallace and Gromit film, where the dog's skin comes off and he's revealed to be actually a robot.
Yeah. They've broken their chains, so I don't think these can be sort of reliable dogs.
Or maybe they just released from their chains to attack, and then they come back to their Orlok masters at the end. But there's new 40k stuff, obviously, and a Necron guy with lots of guns, lots of pistols in all of the hands. How many hands is that? Is that 5 or 6 hands?
6, I'm going to say. Or is it 4?
I can see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 hands and 3 legs there.
I think I could take that out, no problem. Just give me a pair of scissors. I'll just snip them coils and then
yeah, you're assuming that they are some kind of a power source for it functioning rather than just individually powering each weapon.
It'd be kind of like giving it a haircut, wouldn't it? You're just snipping those, or maybe a pair of like garden, what are they called? The garden things that you hedge trimmers. Yeah,
Garden shears.
Give me some garden shears. I'll take them.
I wouldn't trust you with those at the moment, especially since I've got all this luxurious hair going on. So I don't know what this is. Warhammer 40,000 Crusade Beyond the Veil, and I'm not going to look at it too closely, but there's a nice bit of terrain here. Very tasty, but so that pales in comparison though, because on Warcry there's something that caught my eyes, definitely. Catacombs. But there's some models as well.
Yeah, this looks great. This looks great, man.
What do you think about these?
Well, you can't get the first Warcry box anymore, so this one gives you loads of scenery and 2 newish factions. You've got these Dark Elves. Can you use these with Daughters of Cain or Free Peoples? Well, you can use those Witch Elves. So some extra Witch Elf models, always cool. Yeah, I like these guys. I bloody sold my Dark Elf army, so they're going to have to fit somewhere. She's wicked. Like that one. Yeah.
They're all pretty tasty, actually. And there's a lot here. I was expecting it to be like 3 different ones when I started scrolling, but there's quite a lot there. And
I think there's 9. There's 9 models there, or is it 8?
There's also these flaming people as well, with lots of fire going on.
Yeah, do you say Scions or Scions?
I would assume it's Scions.
Scions of the Flame. I like these.
Yeah, if you like painting flames,
Yes.
this is definitely something you could sink your painting fangs into.
See, I think these would go well with flagellants, right? These sort of models. It reminds me of Game of Thrones. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like a faction, isn't there, that are like worship the flame.
I would imagine flagellants would enjoy teaming with these people because they could just, instead of like whipping themselves, just ask one of these folk kindly just give me a bit of a prod with that fire stick you've got there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I really think the Cities of Sigmar could have had a faction like Devoted of Sigmar that's like really strict and really sort of prejudiced against anyone who's not like an absolute Sigmar devotee. And there could be all that flagellants and warrior priests and these guys.
What do you think about this
That
one
would
that's
have
just
been cool,
totally
man.
engulfed in flame?
Say again? Oh, this fit model? Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Love it.
Surrounded by fire. You look spicy, so that's the end of that. But the important thing here is the terrain that looks very exciting, actually. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but wrap your eyeballs around this. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I like that platform there. Do you get that platform thing? Or I don't see it there. But on the picture below, there was like a
I would assume that everything,
bridge.
everything
going-
that
yeah.
comes in it is in this picture here, I would assume. So is that some kind of mat? Just separate bridges on it?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Well, if you turn it over, you get a more of a classic Warcry map, which I like. So this is like the chaosy side of it. This is beneath Archaon's realm. Look, yeah, see that picture there? Do you see that bridge? I bet you don't get that, but it looks cool.
Interesting. I would assume that
Maybe you do.
everything in this picture is probably available in some way.
So everyone that I've talked to that plays Warcry loves it. They say it's brilliant. Do you know anyone that plays it, Andy?
Nope.
Yeah, I
But
think
people in the audience, though.
maybe we should.
Raphael says Warcry in all caps. Very excited. Apparently the bridge is there.
Oh, cool, man.
So when it's got a bit
nice
more
one.
of a solid revelation, we'll have a look at the full contents. But
I like it.
It does have a bit of 3D going on. This is your more typical kind of Warcry terrain here. Of course, there's this, and then there's also Underworlds.
Yeah, what factions from Warcry did you like if you had to get one? Any catch your eye?
There's none that really
I
jump
like
out
the
in my
Birdmen.
mind at the moment. I'd have to have a look through them. I'd to get into it at some point.
Dire Chasm. Well, I don't know. What do you think of these guys? More Slanesh?
Well, there's a bit of a lizard with a blowpipe here, who seems to be new. A Tapple.
Yeah,
a
they're going to bring out a
skink.
little lizard men.
Yeah, the Seraphon are coming to Warhammer Underworlds,
Yeah,
apparently.
Underworld's little.
And then
It would be good if Croxigor, wouldn't it? A Croxigor.
Croxigor are pretty cool. I don't think they are very well represented nowadays, though, are they? Seen them for a while.
I can't.
And then there's some fancy new stuff here for Beast Grave. New cards and tokens, which we don't know anything about because we haven't played it yet. And then we're down to Shadow and Pain again. So, exciting times, lots of releases. When it becomes feasible for us to actually get some sweet, spicy gaming action in, then I'm sure you're going to be inspired, A, to stop selling all your armies, and I might be inspired to actually complete maybe even my Caradron Overlords at some point, you never know. I've got plenty of Stormcast, I feel like I don't need any more of those. Got quite enough.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of Stormcast that I don't really want.
Doesn't everyone?
Oh yeah. Do you think one day they'll become like really sought after? You know, like Bretonians.
No. In a word, I don't think that's going to happen to Stormcast. Okay, so here's something else we're going to look at before we move on to any of our spicier segments of the show. And I've got something to show you here. So let's just up image slideshow. Okay, these are some miniatures that I've painted recently. Obviously, they're not on round basis, so they're nothing to do with GW. But these are for my Kings of War Night Stalkers army, which I haven't really started yet, apart from these models in terms of painted. So these are converted using the spare heads from giants, from the Kings of War, the Mantic Giant. Because I didn't use any of the heads on my giant, because I did this with it instead. Put tentacles coming out of its head. So that's not finished yet. But with the spare heads, I made these two into Dread Fiends. And they're combined with legs from the Mantic Hellboy frog monster. So identical legs, different heads, and then they've been based using lots of gribbly things from Bad Squiddo games, including bugs, spider eggs, and skull piles. So I'm going to go through the images here now. See, there's a spider egg sack there with a spider crawling on it. Very exciting. And the bugs. And I've got both these here with me now as well, so you can get a bit of a scale. You can figure out exactly how big they are. But all these bugs are very, very tiny. In fact, I've got some unpainted ones here as well, because you get a ton of them in the pack. And they are right up to the camera. That's how small they are. So you get loads in there. And just blitz through these images, a bit of a close-up there. And I've gone for the theme of kind of all these insects were bursting out of a mound in the ground, and they've been followed by this bubbling, horrible green slime that's coming after them, which is a bit of a theme. The overall look, there's slime pouring out of the eye sockets in some of the skulls, which I think looks pretty tasty as well. Not that you'd want to sample it to find out how tasty it was. Oh, there was the thumbnail I made for the video I did on these guys. And the second one.
I saw that come up on my feed.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it then. So what do you think of this purple and ghostly green look I've got going on these models?
Yeah, it could work for. It could be Chaos Spawn, couldn't it, or Fiend of Slanesh?
I like these ones.
Maybe some kind of squeak.
I like these images where I've got one in focus and one in the background. Not in focus, it looks like an album cover or something.
Yeah, I like the font you've used as well for So Hideous. It's kind of cool. Yeah, these are great, man.
Spicy. Not too many more pictures to go on these now, but I think you'll agree that all the little basing accessories are very tasty as well. If anyone gets inspired to order some of those from Bad Squiddo games, don't forget to go right to the bottom of the video description and get the code down there to enter when you place an order to get a free chicken every order.
Ooh.
Back to back there. So these giant heads, I wasn't going to do anything with them. And then I actually did put them to use in multiple ways. Not only have I used them on these models, I also pressed them into like a press mold and then used their faces to make, let's see, from this camera, to make a little face on his knee on this big giant. And another one, the other face, is on his shoulder, that one.
It could be doing some kind of tug of war, couldn't they, in one of those pictures? Those two things.
Certainly could. Lots more dribbly green slime everywhere. And there we go.
It's kind of like a night out with Andy. Lots of dribbly slime everywhere.
Indeed. So let's get that slideshow. And that. And we're back to looking at the picture of Shadow and Pain. So let's have a look what people had to say about that. Raphael loved the promo video for those models. Very nice. Yeah, I've been looking at doing quite a lot of videos like that for my existing models because I'm actually now offering my services out there to the wargaming industry. For anyone out there that wants to hire me to maybe edit together a sweet little video for you, or do anything video related at all, really, as long as you give me some sweet, sweet cash, then you know how to contact me. Let's see. Rob says, Hellboy Frog Monster. Yes, that is what the legs are made from. So also Mantic models from their Hellboy. I think it's the Frog Monster boss. Has slightly bigger legs than the one. See, Brad says the converted figures are ogre sized. Yeah, they're pretty much about the size of an ogre. Maybe a tiny bit bigger than some ogres. See, what can I put them next to give you a better sense of scale? I'll put them next to a Necromunda dude. So, there you go. So, pretty big.
Sounds like and looks like you've settled well into Nottingham, Andy. Is that fair to say?
I think that is a fair assessment. And in some ways, the fact that the country has been partly closed down the entire time I've been here, that's kind of helped because you don't have to deal with being out and about as much in crowded like public and dealing with all that kind of shenanigans. So it's easy to just get settled a bit, let it all calm down, and then start encroaching and reaching out into the world a bit more, like putting out my wargaming tendrils as time goes on.
Have you basically got all your stuff in Nottingham now? Because you had so many wargaming shenanigans, bits and bobs, paraphernalia, armies. Are they all in different locations still?
People can see a little bit behind me, which is on that side. And all the shelves behind me are full of all my armies and all my terrain. So they're all boxed up, and there's drawers full of them as well. And any that didn't fit in there are in other boxes, which are around other places in here. I've got more stuff under the table down here next to the PC setup. I've got all my paints out now. I've got my paint rack set up for all my dropper bottles.
Nice.
So fully kitted out for painting now, as people will have seen if they saw. I think I've done 2 AT streams, the painting zone so far, which is nice.
Have you got a table set up for skirmishes or battles? Is there
not specifically,
not enough space for that?
But there is enough space for small skirmishy type games in this house even. Right. But I'm also within striking distance of lots of the wargaming HQs around here. So there's Mantic, there's
Andy,
Warhammer World. So when all that opens up for their gaming nights and whatnot, then I'll be able to get a lot of games in and around the Nottingham region.
So before that, you had to travel to tournaments a lot more than you will have to now?
Potentially, because there's probably going to be a reasonable amount of tournaments in this region. Although for Kings of War, there were a lot up in the northwest. But people did travel from down here to get to them. So I may still be able to attend some of those. We shall see.
I think a lot of people have been demanding me and you go to Warhammer World and enter into the Age of Sigmar doubles competition.
Well, I think that can definitely happen.
I think we'll do well.
I don't think we'll do well, but I think it can definitely happen. So as soon as they start opening up that kind of thing, it's safe to do so, then we can definitely leap in there. And if it's mandatory face masks, then we can pick up some sweet Andy and Rem Show themed face masks from the Redbubble shop. Link in the description below, of course. Get your sweet, sweet merch. And there is actually an Andy 2D6 cushion in this house now, but I forgot to bring it up here for the show. So I might actually run and get that when there's a video playing at some point. That's very exciting.
Cool.
Speaking of exciting, we know what everyone's favourite segment is, but it's not time for that yet. It's time for everyone's second favourite segment. Are you mentally prepared?
I am.
Okay, it's time for What the Hell Is That? And this time, all it is a face of one model. That is it. So surely someone can get this. The face has been transplanted onto a real-life human. So if you can identify the face, then you will be the winner. So I am going to start that up, and then once that's started, I'm going to run downstairs and grab that high-quality piece of merch, bring it back here in record time. Let's see if I can do it. Okay. It's going to be exciting.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Is it a chaos dwarf or a vampire bear? Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Only Andy and Remington, Andy and Remy, Andy and Remington know. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Is it Sigmar's beard or Neferata's hat? Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, what the hell is that? Is it a mangled squig or a sorcerer's rat? Only Andy and Remington! Andy and Remy, Andy and Remington know.
Okay, I made it back just in time. So are you ready to tell me what the hell is that? Phew. There you go, folks. What the hell is that? It's clearly a face, but whose face is it? Who the hell's face is that?
She looks pretty angry.
Pretty angry.
She's pretty annoyed, Andy. What have you done this time?
Well, she does look like, with the arms folded and everything, and that kind of scowl expression, it is definitely a demanding to speak to the manager kind of vibe going on here, isn't it?
Yeah, that looks like a high maintenance lady there.
Brad says Marathi. No, it is not.
I was going to say Marathi. I think it's. Ooh.
I think
it's a Slaneshi. Rem's new girlfriend. It's. Is it Marathi? Is it Mickey Gemba? No,
it's not.
I don't think she's here today.
Fluffy Dread says vampire head. No, it's not a vampire. Exclusively reveal it is not a vampire. It is not Isabella von Karstein. Somebody's got to get this. I'll tell you.
Age of Sigmar?
It is from the Age of Sigmar range. It's currently available, and it is part of a 3-model kit.
Oh, I know.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, we're going to give people a few more seconds to get it. Raphael says Daughter of Cain. Nope. Brad says Alariel. Nope. I can tell you now that it's not a named character. This particular person does not have a specific, unique name. No, it's not SpongeBob. Do you want to guess, Mr. Rem?
Yeah, I think it's one of the vampires that's on the sort of chariot. Can't remember what it's called.
Nope. It's not a vampire. There's no vampire theme at all with this.
Oh.
Come on, somebody. It's the entire face of the model. What more do you want, people?
It's not Slanesh, is it? It's not a Slaneshi model. Oh, it's Stormcast, isn't it? It's the Blackthorn or whatever her name is.
Not quite, but I can tell you that it is Stormcast. If someone can tell me which Stormcast unit it's from, then you're the winner. But it's not a named character.
Sanctimonious Homogenei? I don't know.
No. They haven't released that one yet.
Dead Gamer says we suck.
That is true if you can't get what the hell is that from the entire model's face.
Raphael Maj usually gets this straight away. It's just you've gazumped him there, Andy.
Oh, we've got a winner.
Celestar Ballast Crew.
Yep, William has got it. So here is the solution.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Artillery crew, bit of a scowl going on there. So I'm surprised that that took so long, actually.
Wow.
Disappointed in some of the regulars here. Poor performances. But well done to William. So let's get rid of that from the screen. And so, as you know, the Redbubble shop has been launched for sweet Andy and Rem show or just plain Andy 2D6 themed merch, including this snazzy item here. The Forest of Rem in mug form.
Oh, wow. That's the best thing in the shop. Look at that.
Wrapping all the way around the mug, including the little creature hiding behind the tree, the bat, or whatever it is, hanging upside down there in the tree.
That's amazing.
Very nice. So I'm going to leave this here, actually, so people can see it for the rest of the show. And also another piece of merch. Look at that. That is a fantastic piece of merch if ever I've seen one. And the real bonus is that it doesn't feature the word Rem anywhere.
It would be nice if the other side of it said, Remington.
Well, you know what I could do? Now that I've got the cushion, I could buy an Andy and Rem show or Forest of Rem cover to go on it, because the covers do unzip and come off so you can wash them. So you could just buy one of the cushion inserts and then buy multiple covers for them, and then just switch out whichever one you're feeling like at that particular moment. And of course there is the bonus of anyone that buys anything from the Redbubble shop, let me know who you are, and then we'll put you in the Forest of Rem as a character, or at least you could name a character if you don't want it to have your name. Well, there you go. Pretty exciting. Okay. Are you ready for everyone's actual favourite segment?
I think so. I'm going to try and play some live keyboard for you all. Hopefully this will work. Now I've got a decent mic, right? You can see Remington actually doing this for real. So there.
This is exciting. Is his new microphone going to actually cut out 50% of the notes as usual, or is it going to work? Let's find out.
Let's see what happens. Can you hear this?
Sounds okay so far.
Is that creepy enough sound, or should I go for like a strange toy piano? Do you prefer that?
That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty creepy.
You want to go for the toy? Let's make it cool. Right, here we go. In the forest of Rem, in the forest of Rem, where boys become men. In the forest of Rem, Andy is the DM. Forest of Rem, in the forest of Rem, in the Rem, where boys become men. In the forest of Rem, is it a chicken or is it a hen? You decide when. In the forest of Rem.
Go. Spicy. So, folks, you may recall last week on the Forest of Rem, Mr. Remington was eager to dispatch seemingly other versions of himself, and didn't even converse with one of them that appeared behind him in a strange room that he's found himself in. Immediately slaughtered this alternative Rem. But 4 more appeared around him. That's where we left things last week. But just to give you a little bit of context for that, Mr. Remington has been on a bit of a personal journey of discovery into his past, where he witnessed a touching moment from his childhood and eventually saved his little cousin, tiny Timothy Remington, but potentially at the cost of his own life, maybe, yet he's still intact. So what's going on with that? He gave some stock tips to old Papa Remington and turned the family's fortune around, but now he's been confronted with multiple copies of himself in a strange and twisted world. Shadowy, mystical. The 4 Remingtons look on, each one of them slightly different. One of them with an additional mole on its face, one of them with a bit of an eye twitch, one of them with short hair, one of them with a noticeable limp. What's going on here? They all slowly shuffle around the one true Remington. How will you respond?
Interesting. I will ask some exploratory questions and see if they really are Remingtons or merely hallucinations
So you're not just
or
going to slaughter
manufactured
them?
weapons. No, not yet, because I think this is intriguing. So I think we can get to the bottom of this by asking them a few questions that only Remington would know. Right? So if anyone's got any ideas, could you write them in the comments? Captain Bazooka, it's like multiplicity, but with Rem. Remplicity. Okay, I like it. So what question could I ask? Maybe I could find out exactly who I am. Okay. I'm going to ask them each to answer me individually, and I shall ask them a question. I shall ask them. I shall ask them, what mutation did I used to have on my shoulder? Dead Gamer says, why does it burn when I peek?
That's a great question, but we may get to that one in a minute. So you've asked one of them, what mutation did you used to have on your shoulder?
Yes.
Which I'm going to assume is a trick question, because that was technically in the future. So, 3 of the Remingtons appear confused, just confounded by this statement, wondering what on earth you're talking about. But one of them, however, you see a little twinkle in his eye, and he's about to speak up, when suddenly thinks better of it, quietens down a bit. So that's a bit suspicious, isn't it? They are still edging a little bit closer. That was the one that seems to have a bit of a limp.
I'm going to ask him a further question. I'm going to say, how did you get that limp?
Emotions with finger puppetry, with a shaft of light onto the wall, gives you a shadow puppet of what appears to be a goblin hitting somebody's knee with a hammer. Quite talented with his hands, this version of Remington.
I like this one. I'm going to tell him, right, I want you to come with me and the rest of you can go home.
The other Remingtons look disappointed, but they continue their advance on you. The one that you've just complimented steps back, though, and kind of does this. So looks pleased with himself. The others advance on you a little bit.
Oh, no.
But one of them speaks up.
Okay.
We're all Remington, just like you, he says.
Okay, I've got something. I bet they can't all play the mandolin as good as me.
Very well.
And I bet they don't all have a flesh puppet like I'm wielding right now.
You can see
I can
clearly that none of
manipulate.
them have flesh puppets. Are you going to hand around
No.
your mandolin and see if any of them can strum it the way you can?
Yes, let's do it. Let's see if they can crack open the mandolin and make a tune, right? See what they can do.
Do you have a small stringed instrument with you right now?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I will get it.
This is what we show. Top-notch musical entertainment. So while Mr. Remington is gathering his instrument, preparing to strum it live on camera, then I will have a quick look at the comments. Steve is asking what the latest GW stock price is. I assume we're not going to ask that to one of the Remingtons, but we could do. Oh, he's back. So,
Okay.
you're going to hand the mandolin to the first Remington, and the following tune is going to be played. Would you like to play a fairly mediocre tune for us to illustrate his playing ability?
Mediocre. What comes to mind? AoS. There you go.
Very well. So, the first Remington may be not quite up to your standards, but not terrible by any means. The second Remington, you hand the instrument to him, and he plays a slightly above average tune.
Okay, maybe he plays a little bit of fangs.
Very well. He hands the mandolin on to the third Remington, and this one is just awful. It's horrible all over the place. Let's see how you can demonstrate that. Shots fired from Remington there. Okay, are you going to hand on the mandolin to the favoured Remington that you complimented earlier? Or are you going to ignore him entirely? Are you going to bother handing it to him?
No, I'm going to ignore him.
Okay then.
Till the end.
There's a bit of a variety of musical talent going on with these three Remingtons. What's your assessment of that?
Yeah, none of them are good enough yet. None of them are at je ne sais quoi, you know? It can only be Remington.
So, the one that is terrible, would you like to roll the dice? Because something is about to happen. You're starting to shake violently.
Okay. I've got my blue crystal dice. Let's see what they're saying. Remington. It's a 2.
Well, the least talented of all the mandolin strummers, that version of Remington, explodes into 1,000 pieces. Just pieces of him splattering everywhere. So one of them is done for. But you don't know why. However, the Remington that you showed favour to earlier is still in the background, kind of like this.
Right, I'm going to give him a go on the mandolin.
You're going to give him a go on the
What
mandolin.
he's got.
Well, this Remington takes the mandolin from you, looks like he's about to play a tune, then puts it down on the ground. Says to you, I need not prove my musical talent to you. I am the true Remington. Only the two of us, together, enter the door to the next realm.
Yeah, no, that's not good enough. I'm forced to play every week. So this guy can just play once, surely.
Well, you would think so, but he is refusing. And while that's going on, one of the other Remingtons One of the other Remingtons is starting to shake violently as well. You're going to have to roll another dice.
Oh Christ! Here we go. I don't need to cry. I'm not sure what I want to happen, but I'll say it. Remington. It's a 1.
Not only does he explodes with such force that he knocks the mandolin through one of the doorway portals out of the other Remington's hand. So that's 2 of them just exploded. This one basically in powder form now. So there's 1 remaining who attempted to play the mandolin, and there is 1 who wouldn't even give it a go, who was looking a bit sinister in the background.
Okay, I will ask a final question. And this should end the debate once and for all. Are you ready? What is the GW stock price today?
Roll the dice.
Go. Remington. Remington, cut dice. 3.
Well, the stock is slightly down, so final Remington that attempted to play the mandolin. This guy was actually pretty decent at it, but he collapses in a heap on the ground. You're not sure if he's dead, but there don't seem to be any immediate signs of life. The other one is still perfectly fine. Worth noting that he didn't attempt to play the mandolin, though.
So he's not played the mandolin, he's not answered my questions properly, and he's refusing to tell me the answer.
At this point, he starts to
me.
walk towards the one open door that you opened last time, beckoning you to walk through the doorway with him.
Okay. I suppose I better go, ain't I? Get my mandolin back at least.
You gonna do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, the 2 Remingtons take each other by the arm, enter the doorway, and all turns black. All of a sudden. No sound, no light, not even a stench, which is unusual. Mr. Remington finds himself, when his eyes open, in a rather grotesque location. In fact, before his eyes open, the first thing that greets him is a sudden downpour, an onslaught, a foul stench that was previously not present and now suddenly is. He opens his eyes, he sees bars, he sees mold, he sees slime. He is imprisoned. Alone. The other Remington is nowhere to be seen. And as he looks down at his hand, he sees that the haunted flesh puppet has vanished.
Oh no.
So
I was just
what
going to like
on
him.
earth is going on here? Mr. Remington, what are you going to do? You are confined in a small cell. It's dimly lit,
in a
as
prison
always.
cell.
There is a torch on the outside of the bars, lighting just that area. You can make out a couple of figures in the distance moving around, perhaps, but nothing too clearly, because it is very dimly lit, as always.
I think I've trapped myself, haven't I? It's my own insanity. What is even real?
As you contemplate your very existence, a short, hooded figure limps past you with a stick, glances into the cage, gives you a look up and down with his eyes, then hobbles away mumbling, "Yes, not a bad specimen, this one. He'll make a fine addition to the Remington."
I am Remington.
He chuckles.
Look, I'll prove it. I'll roll a 1.
He chuckles as he walks away from you, leaving you damp, moist, and alone.
Well,
However, all is not lost. A brick in the wall starts to come loose, and a faint glimmer of hope emerges as a hand reaches through the brick. It's a green hand, but a hand nonetheless. And with that, that is the end of this week's instalment of Forest of Red.
Wow. That was awesome.
Dun dun dun. It's just one drama to the next, non-stop roller coaster ride of emotion and excitement. Spicy. Forest of Ren, folks. Back next week. Find out what's going to happen. This travelling minstrel on his journey of self-discovery and self-mutilation, perhaps. Spicy indeed. Oh, and thanks to Eric for dropping a spicy donation in there. Very welcome indeed.
Wow.
And
that's cool, man.
yeah, we had a couple of comments on that. Brad says, can two rems possibly occupy the same space at the same time? Well, it seems like two of them did briefly. So, lots of interesting conundrums running through the mind of our audience here. What does this all mean? What's going on in the world of Remington? What's going on in his mind? What's going on in the world around him? Is he even in the material realm anymore? Or is he still within his own mind on this voyage of self-discovery? Tune in next week to find out. Well, there we go.
Right.
That was exciting.
All right.
Okay, let's get rid of this
It was, man.
Forest of Ren picture so people can have another look at the Shadow and Pain box, which I'm sure I'm going to dive further into at some point, especially if you buy it.
Do you prefer a live Forest of Ren music, or would you like a recorded version?
I think people would like a recorded version because occasionally on the live feed there is a little bit of glitchery at play. So it would be a very nice, polished version as well, which you have been promising for some time now.
Yes. I tell you what, I'll make a nice version of that, and you can monetize it.
Sounds good.
I don't know what I get out of all this. Maybe I get to be a co-star.
You get the international prestige of being on my channel 123 times.
Yeah. We used to get thousands of views every week, didn't we?
Well, that was when we were more on the cutting edge of the Age of Sigmar releases. But maybe, with the world slowly drifting back to normality in some way, then we might be able to get back on that cutting edge and get our ears to the ground, noses to the grindstone, hands in the Age of Sigmar pie, getting dirty down in the trenches.
I mean, guys, I look around and I watch stuff on YouTube. I can't find anything as good as this show. I can't. I tried.
It's a futile endeavour.
You know?
You would never find anything even remotely like this.
Nothing. Nada. Zip.
Also, folks, this week, possibly Thursday, it's going to be Vermintide. Maybe the final chapter.
Oh, man.
If we can finish that, it's going to be a spicy episode. The final mission of Vermintide. Then, after that, Vermintide 2. Can you contain yourselves? Probably not, but you're going to have to try. So maybe on Thursday. And keep your eyes peeled for that. And let's have a look at the episode thumbnail now, because I don't spend all these hours slaving on Photoshop, so you don't have to look at it. And thanks for everyone who's joined us this evening. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, including all the juicy social media shenanigans. There's Discord, Twitter, Facebook groups, all kinds of goodness down there. There's various fundraising sources as well for anyone that wants to keep this channel afloat with your generosity. There's the Redbubble merch website if you want to get any of our top quality merch, including mugs, coasters, cushions, towels, all kinds of stuff in there. T-shirts.
And if you don't do any of that, then please hit the like button. At least smash that like button.
At the very least, you should be liking the video.
Everyone seems to say, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, whatever that means. So maybe if it gets more likes, more people get to see it. And,
well,
You know,
when it comes to the YouTube
How's that
algorithm, we break all the rules because you're not supposed to wait till the end to tell people to like and subscribe. You're supposed to do it immediately because most people have switched off the video before the last 10 seconds so they don't hear it, which is a rule we break. You're not supposed to start with a long intro. You're supposed to talk instantly. Say, in this video, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. Boom! And then a big snappy explosion logo, and then that's it, into the content. We don't do that. We do it our own way, and our audience appreciates it, I think. They appreciate the fact that we're not slaves to the YouTube machine. We march to the beat of our own mandolin. And extra special thanks, of course, to some of our very special patrons who have pledged to the level required to have a personal shout out at the end of each episode. So, very special thanks to the following people: Graham, Steve, Kim, Eric, Brad, Barbara, and Guy. All of you, extra special, spicy thanks to you, keeping this channel afloat in these tough, turbulent, unprecedented times. And with that, Mr. Remington, would you like to say goodnight?
good night, guys. Thanks for coming. And I hope you like my new setup, and I hope my voice is loud and clear. And yeah, onwards and upwards. Things are opening up, and my armies are going to claim their former glory once more.
Certainly. And all that remains to be said now is good night out there. Whatever you.
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about